So I think in last class also we discussed about this enumeration of microorganism in food, and we studied about the enumeration. So in that class we studied that different methods by which we can count the microorganism in the food. So there is a direct method and indirect method. Direct methods, that means directly we are counting the microbial cell. So we are having a different methods. So direct microbial DMC is there, direct microscopic count is there, then direct counting on the membrane filter is there. Then we are also having a culture based method. Culture based method, that means we are depending on the culture. So that based on the culture, we are having a methods, that is spread plate method is there, pour plate method is there. And beside this spread plate and pour plate, we are also having a MPN. MPN is the most probable number techniques. So, and then besides this direct, we are also having an indirect. So today we will study on the indirect method. And before going to the indirect method, we will cover the MPN techniques that which we have not covered during that last class. Okay, so we will go. So most probable number techniques especially suited for the enumerating the presence of low number of microorganism food. That means if the food contains a very low number of microorganism, so in that case MPN is very suitable to count microorganism. Okay, so this MPN involves how we can do this MPN. It involves inoculating replicate tubes of appropriate liquid media. So basically two methods is there, 3 tube method and 5 tube method. Okay, so we are including the microorganism or sample in the this 3 tube method or 5 tube methods. So with 3 different sample size, we are having a 10 ml, then 1 ml and 0.1 ml. So that means the concentration of the microbial load will be more in if we are taking a more number of sample. Okay, so that's why there is a this preparation is two strength we have to prepare, double strength and single strength. Okay, double strength and single strength. So first series will be double strength, then second and third will be the single strength. So in the single strength we are adding 1 ml and 0.1 ml. Okay, and then we are, after inoculating the sample into the media, we are incubating these tubes in the incubator for appropriate temperature or for appropriate time. Okay, then after incubation we have to observe the presence or absence of the growth of the microorganism in the media. If there will be growth in the media, that media will be very turbid in nature. So accordingly, you have to count the how many tubes are showing a positive result. So that positive result, if the media is showing, then we have to refer to the table. MPN table is there. I think we have covered this during the first year, first sem course, MPN techniques. So then we are having a table, 3 tube method table and 5 tube MPN table. So we have to means refer the tables, and if it is showing in all the 3 tube series growth, then accordingly based on the tables we can express the how much count is there. Okay, so MPN numbers are generally higher than the standard plate count. Okay, advantage is that relatively a simple method and easy to perform, then results are comparable from one laboratory to another. A specific group of organisms determined by use of specific media suitable for detecting organisms present in low number, and method of choice for coliform detection. And this method is especially suited for the detection of the coliform. Coliform bacteria is there, na? It's a group of bacteria which form a means colony. They will be in the group. So coliform is there, total coliform is there. Then we are also having a Escherichia coli, Escherichia E. coli. Okay, so this is the method, MPN methods we are following to detect the coliform bacteria. Disadvantage, it requires a use of large number of glasswares and large volume of the samples. Cannot be observed colony morphology. We can't observe the colony because we are using the liquid media. Only we can see the growth of the microbes. We are not able to observe the colony. Okay, so that colony observation we can do on the solid media, not in liquid media. So lack of precision. These are the disadvantages of MPA. Now, enumeration of microorganism, we can also count the microorganism by indirect method. Indirect method is not depending on the culture based or directly on the means we are not counting the microbial cells on the microscopic slides or on the filter paper. So alternate method is there, rapid method, two method, indirect method. Under the indirect methods, we are having alternate method and rapid method. So here, types and number of microorganisms present in the food sample can be determined either by measuring the metabolites released by the microorganism and constituent of the microbial cell. So two things is implied. We are measuring the metabolites which is released by the microorganism and the constituent of the microbial cell, employing physical and chemical methods or by using rapid method. So basically alternate methods we are following the physical or chemical methods, and rapid methods we are using the ELISA and PCR. ELISA is the enzyme linked immunosorbent assay and PCR is the polymerase chain reaction. Okay, we will study in detail about all these things. Then alternate methods, physical and chemical methods, we are having 5 different methods by which we can count or enumerate the microorganism in the food. One is the dye reduction test, DRT test is also known as DRT test. Then electrical methods is there, ATP measurement is there, thermostable nuclease test is there, then limonous-lysis test is there. So total 5 tests is there. This is the physical and chemical method by which we can enumerate the microorganism in the food. Okay, we will go one by one. DRT, dye reduction test, is mainly used in dairy industry for assessing overall microbial quality of raw milk. Okay, dairy industry DRT test is used to assess the microbial quality of the milk, raw milk. And the number of viable organisms in a sample is determined by their ability to reduce the redox dye. So basically we are using the dye, which is the redox dye. So how much microorganisms able or capable to reduce that dye? So redox dye takes up electron from active biological system and are colored when oxidized and colorless when reduced. So basically this dye takes the electron from the biological system, and if it is oxidized, then it may form some color. There will be color changing. If it is not, that means if it is reduced, then there will be no color change. That will be colorless. So we are having a different redox dye which is commonly used. Methylene blue is there, which appears blue when oxidized and colorless when reduced. Then resazurine appears blue when oxidized, pink or white when reduced. Then triphenyl tetrazolium salt appears different from the above 2 dyes. In reduced and oxidized state, it is colorless when oxidized and colored red or maroon when reduced due to the formation of formazine. So basically here we are using the redox dye. So this redox dye, what microbes will do? Microbes will reduced or oxidized. Okay, basically it reduces the dye, so there will be color formation. So this is the procedure. Food supernatant, first homogenizing that food sample, and then we are taking the supernatant which is added to the standard dye solution which we have prepared already, and then after adding that food supernatant to this standard dye solution, it is incubated for 10 minutes in resazurine dye, and we have to observe there is a color changes or not. If there is a color changes, then that means it is reduced. Then extent of reduction is related to the bacterial load, how much bacterial load is there. And time for reduction to occur is inversely proportional to the number of organisms present in the sample. So time kitna chahiye, how much required to for reduction process. So it is inversely proportional to the number of microorganisms. It's a very simple. We have to take the food sample and then we have to include it into this dye, redox dye, and we have to keep for some times, and then we have to observe there is a color changes or not. If color changes, that means there is a reduction. That means dye is reduced. Then advantage, simple, rapid, and inexpensive method. Okay, not require too much money. Suitable for assessing quality of raw materials at farm or dairy. Okay, so suitable for the dairy. Disadvantage, not all organisms are able to reduce dye equally and not suitable for food that contain reductive enzyme. Okay, this is agar food it contains the reductive enzymes, so that enzymes may also play a role. So basically here we are enumerating the microorganism which is having that reductive enzyme. If food itself contains reductive enzyme, that means it is also playing a role to reduce the dye, isn't it? So that's why it's not suitable for food that contain reductive enzyme. So that is the disadvantage. Then another method is the electrical method. So this method is a physical method and is one of the most widely used alternative method for microbiological analysis of food. Okay. Principle क्या है? So growth of microorganism in liquid medium changes the chemical composition of the medium. If we are growing the microorganism, if any medium, what microbes will do? They will utilize the nutrient which is there in the media. So there will be chemical changes, there will be nutritional changes in the media, and because of these changes, it leads to the changes in its electrical properties. So electrical properties media का change हो जाएगा. Okay, if it is changing, then we have to measure the electrical properties of that media. So if changes occur, that means it will tell the how much microbial load is there in the sample. Okay, not required. Then application useful in assessing the quality of vegetables में हम use करते हैं. 90-95% agreement has been found between the impedance measurement. Electrical properties को measure करते हैं ना, तो that is the electrical impedance. Okay, and TPC require 5 hours to analyze and suitable for ground meat and other food. Okay, it is also suitable for the ground meat, that means chopped meat जो होते हैं वो, or other food. Microbiological quality of pasteurized milk was assessed by using the impedance detection time of 7 hours or less, which is equivalent to the TPC of 10 to the power 4 per ml or more bacteria. Okay, so if it is time is there, so based on that we are detecting the how much bacterial load. Then another one is the ATP measurement. ATP सबको पता है भाई, it is the energy currency, the primary source of energy in all living cells, and universal agent for the transfer of free energy from catabolic process to anabolic process. Everybody knows. So ATP generally disappear within 2 hours after cell death. So we have to focus here the microbial cell, and this microbes is there in the food. So food may be agar if it is a living organism is there, so there will be cell, and inside the cell there will be ATP. So here we have to focus about the microbial cell, not the food cell. Food cell means tissue की बात कर रहे हैं हम, जो भी food है अगर living cell से हम ले रहे हैं तो. The amount of ATP per cell is generally constant, that is 10 to 18 or 10 to 17 mole per bacterial cell, which is equivalent to 4 into 10 to the power 4 mole ATP per 10 to the power 5 CFU of bacteria. Okay, so if this much of bacterial cell is there, that means which is equivalent to this much amount of ATP per 10 to the power 5 bacterial load. So adenosine tri, अच्छा ये तो हो गया. Then ATP is exponentially growing bacterial cell is 2 to 6 nanomole ATP per milligram dry weight. Okay, about 0.4% of dry weight of bacteria. Therefore, the measurement of cellular ATP can be equated to individual group microorganisms. A linear relation is observed between the microbial ATP and bacterial number. So there is a linear relationship between that. Okay, तो यहाँ पे हमें फोकस करना है माइक्रोब्स के सेल के अंदर का जो एटीपी है उस पे, ना कि अगर फूड अगर लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म से ले रहे हैं तो उसके सेल के डेथ पे एटीपी जो है उस पे हम फोकस करेंगे. ठीक है, so this is the procedure. ATP measurement done by using the Firefly luciferase system. So basically enzyme. In the presence of ATP, luciferase emits light. So enzyme, अगर ATP है तो this enzyme emits a light, and that light is measured by a device which is known as luminometer. And the amount of light produced is directly proportional to the how much amount of ATP is added. So that is the directly proportional. Luciferase produces 1 photon of light on hydrolysis of 1 ATP of molecule. And ATP facilitates the formation of enzyme substrate complex, which is oxidized by molecular oxygen. So this is the procedure you must have to know, but actually it requires a lot of times. Okay, for the measurement. Application है ATP assay is proved to be suitable in food for assessing microbial quality and involve complex sample preparation procedure. One of the problem in ATP assay in food is contribution from non-microbial ATP, mainly from foods, which can be removed by sample processing procedure. जैसे कि हमने पहले बताया, हमें फोकस करना है एटीपी जो हमारा माइक्रोबियल सेल्स के अंदर में है वो, ना कि फूड का जो टिश्यू है या सेल्स है उसके अंदर में जो एटीपी है या फूड के अंदर में जो एटीपी है उस पे हम फोकस करते हैं. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू प्रिपेयर द सैंपल इन सच अ वे सो दैट नॉन माइक्रोबियल एटीपी should be minimized. So in meat, non-microbial ATP removal involves centrifugation. So this process we have to centrifugation and use of cation exchange brazing and filtration. 3 methods by which we can remove the non-microbial ATP. Okay. It's a rapid and sensitive method not used for routine monitoring of microbial contamination in food. Suitable for monitoring hygiene in food processing plant. On the spot monitoring of food handling surfaces, equipment can be done by swabbing a designated area and reading the relative light unit using luminometer. And the amount of ATP measured in both microbial and non-microbial origin and the presence of both indicates poor hygiene. अगर ATP माइक्रोबियल ओरिजिन से भी आ रहा है और नॉन माइक्रोबियल ओरिजिन दोनों से अगर आ रहा है तो इट इंडिकेट्स दैट वी आर हैंडलिंग आवर हैंडलिंग इज वेरी पुअर. ओके, सो इट इज वैल्यूएबल फॉर मॉनिटरिंग पर्पस बट नॉट फॉर इंडिकेटिंग नंबर ऑफ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म. इट्स ओनली फॉर मॉनिटरिंग. देन अनदर वन इज द थर्मोस्टेबल न्यूक्लियस टेस्ट. थर्मोस्टेबल न्यूक्लियस टेस्ट इज अ केमिकल मेथड. ओके, इट इज नॉट अ फिजिकल मेथड. इट्स अ केमिकल मेथड used to detect the presence of Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus कहाँ रहता है? It's a bacteria. Which bacteria? Staphylococcus aureus. It's a bacteria. Which bacteria?
ग्राम पॉजिटिव सर.
ग्राम पॉजिटिव. कहाँ पे रहता है हैबिटेट? कहाँ पाया जाता है?
ऑन स्किन.
हाँ,
ऑन स्किन सर.
ऑन स्किन. ठीक है, करेक्ट. और हमारे नोज में भी पाया जाता है. ठीक है. सो इट्स
यस सर.
food poisoning organism. In food poisoning organism, and if that organism there, we can detect by thermostable nuclease, this enzyme. Staphylococcus aureus involves in food poisoning by producing enterotoxin, which is neurotoxin. Enterotoxin. This bacteria is producing that enterotoxin, which is neurotoxin in nature. Suppose ये toxin अगर food में produce हो गया और वही food अगर हम consume किए तो our neuron system will be deactivated. Okay, so this is the deadly toxin. So that's why we have to take care. We have to detect whether this Staphylococcus aureus is there or not. और ड्यूरिंग फूड प्रिपरेशन में क्या होता है, स्टेफाइलोकोकस ऑरियस या कोई भी माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म जो है वो डेड हो जाता है, उसका स्पोर्स रह सकता है जो बाद में जर्मिनेट हो सकता है, जर्मिनेट होकर के वो फिर से वो टॉक्सिन प्रोड्यूस कर सकता है. बट दिस एंजाइम जो हमारा न्यूक्लियस एंजाइम है ना, दिस इज थर्मोस्टेबल इन नेचर. So this will be able, this is responsible to produce this enterotoxin. Okay, the enterotoxin producing Staphylococcus produces coagulase and nuclease enzyme, and a high correlation is observed between these two enzymes. This Staphylococcus aureus produces coagulase and nuclease enzyme. Okay, so nuclease of Staphylococcus aureus is more heat stable. That means कितना भी हीट ट्रीटमेंट डालो भैया, ये हमारा टॉक्सिन खत्म नहीं, सॉरी एंजाइम जो है खत्म नहीं होने वाला है. ओके, then the nucleus of other Staphylococcus species and other bacteria, that means other Staphylococcus species से जो न्यूक्लियस एंजाइम आ रहा है और अदर कोई बैक्टीरिया जो न्यूक्लियस एंजाइम रिलीज कर रहा है या बना रहा है, वो उसकी कंपेयर में जो है ये हमारा स्टेफिलोकोकस ऑरियस का जो न्यूक्लियस एंजाइम है which is more heat stable, whereas coagulase is not heat stable and hence it is not used for the detection of this Staphylococcus aureus. So that's why we are using nuclease. So this test increase in cell number, increase the extractable thermonuclease of Staphylococcus aureus. Presence of 0.34 unit of nuclease corresponds to 9.5 into 10 to 3 microgram of enterotoxin by Staphylococcus aureus. That means इतना unit of nuclease अगर है तो which is equal to this much amount of enterotoxin by Staphylococcus aureus. So thermostable nuclease assay was found to be good as coagulase assay for toxigenic strain, and all the foods that are contaminated with enterotoxin were found to be contain thermostable nuclease at Staphylococcus aureus level of 10 to the power 6 CFU per gram of the food. Nuclease is detectable in sample as Staphylococcus numbers 10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 6 per ml, and enterotoxin is detectable at a cell more than 10 to the power 6 per ml. Okay, so that's why we are focusing about the nuclease test. Advantages क्या है? Thermostable nuclease is heat stable, has persist in food even after the bacteria are destroyed by heat or chemicals. Suppose we are processing the food, we are preparing the food, and in that food, if we are adding any chemicals, if we are applying any heat treatment, so there is a chances that this bacteria may die, but this enzyme will be not deactivated. This enzyme will be there because this enzyme is having a thermostable properties, so it will be as such. Okay, so thermostable nuclease is detectable faster within 3 hours than the enterotoxin. Instead of detecting the enterotoxin, we can detect this nuclease within 3 hours. Enterotoxin में है क्या, टॉक्सिन को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, प्यूरिफाई करना है, then we have to identify. It's a lengthy process. So nuclease are produced by enterotoxin strain before the appearance of the enterotoxin. Okay. Then nuclease estimation does not require concentration of culture in foods, but enterotoxin detection require concentration of sample. अगर हमको enterotoxin को डिटेक्ट करना है तो माइक्रोब्स को कल्चर करना है, कल्चर करके उसको इस तरह का एनवायरनमेंट देना है जो वो टॉक्सिन प्रोड्यूस करे. So for detection of that toxin, we must have to grow the microbes. Whereas nucleus को अगर हमें estimate करना है या detect करना है, तो for that we don't have to grow the microbes. We don't require culture. Directly from food we can estimate. So nucleus are heat stable like enterotoxin. ठीक है. Over. Yeah, this over. Another one is the limulus lysate test. So this limulus lysate test is it is also a chemical method used to detect the presence of endotoxin in food. And endotoxin is basically produced by pathogenic gram-negative bacteria that consists lipopolysaccharide layer and lipid A layer in their cell wall. Endotoxin, basically gram-negative bacteria is producing. So lipopolysaccharide is a pyrogenic and responsible for symptom associated with infection by gram-negative bacteria. And limulus amoebocyte lysate test, इसको लाल टेस्ट भी बोलते हैं, very important and most commonly come in competitive exams. लाल, what is that abbreviation form? And this test is useful for what? So this test uses lysate protein obtained from the blood hemolymph cells, amoebocytes of horseshoe crab, a limulus polyphemus, and the lysate protein is the most sensitive substance known for endotoxin. So if lysate protein is there, that means this will be sensitive for the endotoxin. Okay. Then lal test is performed by adding liquids of food suspensions to a small quantity of lysate preparation and incubated at 37 degrees C for 1 hour. So what we have to do? We have to add this food suspension to a small quantity of this lysate protein, and then we have to incubate at 37 degrees C for 1 hour. Then presence of endotoxin causes gel formation of lysate material. That means जो फूड सैंपल हमने लाइसेट प्रोटीन में डाला और उसको इंक्यूबेट किया 37 डिग्री सी पे 1 आवर के लिए, so after 1 hour if any endotoxin is there or not, if endotoxin is there, it may cause gel formation of lysate material. Lal reagent can detect endotoxin as low as 1 picogram of LPS. So very sensitive. It may detect picogram. Incorporation of chromogenic substance, this para-nitroaniline to endotoxin activated enzyme cleaves the substrate and releases free para-nitroaniline that can be read at this 405 nm when we require this spectrophotometer. So if we are incorporating the chromogenic substrate, this basically aromatic compound para-nitroaniline to endotoxin activated enzyme that cleaves the substrate and releases free para-nitroaniline that can be read at 405 nm. So that this sample may be colorful. If we are adding a chromogenic substrate, para-nitroaniline to the endotoxin, if it is there, so it will be a very colorful in nature. So that color compound we are measuring in the spectrophotometer at 405 that wavelength nm. And the amount of chromogenic compound released is proportional to the quantity of endotoxin in the sample. So जितना chromogenic compound हमारा released होगा, that means para-nitroaniline मतलब जो release हो रहा है मतलब chromogenic compound, so which is proportional to the how much quantity of endotoxin in the sample is there. Okay, so by knowing the amount of endotoxin per cell of gram-negative bacteria, which is fairly constant, the total bacterial load can be determined from the quantity of endotoxin is measured. So based on the quantity of endotoxin measured, we are counting the bacterial load. Application: Lal test is a good and rapid indicator of total number of gram-negative bacteria in refrigerated food, especially fish meat which are spoiled mainly by gram-negative bacteria. So for our fishery product, this test we can do. Advantage: lal test detects both viable and non-viable gram-negative bacteria in the food sample. So that is the disadvantage, both viable and non-viable, and found suitable for assessing microbial quality of milk and milk products and raw fish. Milk dairy product में भी करते हैं, अपनी फिशरी में भी करते हैं, and give quick result. Food of high lal value needs further test by other method. Food with low lal titrate can be categorized as low risk related to gram-negative bacteria. Again, this is the advantage. Okay, another is the enumeration of microorganism by rapid method. Alternative method में हमने अभी cover किया. Now we are having a rapid method. Rapid method is a fast method by which we can count we can enumerate the bacteria. Okay, so conventional culture based method often fails to detect the presence of microorganism in food and also take long time for laboratory analysis. जो मेथड हम कल्चर बेस्ड मेथड करते हैं उसमें भी हमारा ये होता है जो हम उसको मतलब false result दें because we are not able to count all the microbes. So this may be due to the low cell number and loss of viability due to the damage to the cells. एक तो अगर low number of bacteria है food sample में तो, और दूसरा viability जिसको बोलते हैं viable, बहुत सारा है, viable, non viable भी है, viable भी है, एक है viable but non culturable, एक है culturable and non viable, ऐसा कुछ है, ठीक है. So this can be overcome by applying culture independent method. We are not depending on the culture. Directly we can take the sample from the food and we can do this test, rapid method, ELISA and PCR. So ELISA, say basically enzyme immunoassay is used in food microbiology to identify the specific pathogen or toxin released by them. So it uses the enzyme immunoassay, okay, to identify the specific pathogen or toxin, and detection of a specific microorganism among the mixture of organisms is made easier by employing ELISA, and this method based on the antigen. This is important. ELISA is based on the antigen and antibody reaction. Antigen, that means bacterial pathogenic cell will be there or toxin will be there. So if antigen, that means pathogenic cell or toxins, we are directly reacting to this antibody, so there will be antigen antibody reaction. So this principle is used in the ELISA. Okay, and this antigen antibody reaction is a highly specific and helps to detect the when antigens are present in very low level. Okay, ELISA involves a specific reaction between the antigen, antibody, and enzyme. Three things is there, and this reaction complex produces a color in the presence of chromogenic substrate, which is proportional to the amount of antigen present. तो जब ये complex form हो जाएगा, antigen, antibody, or enzymes all. So there will be formation of chromogenic substrate. This compound color changes will be there. Okay, chromogenic substrate. So that is proportional to the amount of antigen. कितना antigen present है. Enzymes जो हम commonly use करते हैं इसमें वो है horse radish peroxidase and alkaline phosphatase, most commonly used, which releases a dichromosome when exposed to the substrate. ठीक है. A procedure है, मतलब principle is same, procedure is there, ठीक है. Then PCR है. PCR basically क्या है, suppose कोई जीन है और वो जीन पैथोजेनिक जीन है, कोई पैथोजेनिक काउज कर रहा है, ठीक है. जैसे साल्मोनेला टाइफी है. साल्मोनेला टाइफी जो मतलब फीवर काउज करता है, उसके लिए पर्टिकुलर जीन होगा. and that gene is responsible. कोई टॉक्सिन प्रोड्यूस करता है हमारा बैक्टीरिया या माइक्रोब्स. So for that there will be a particular gene which is going to synthesize that DNA. ठीक है? So that gene we are targeting and amplifying. And after amplification, within a short duration of time, we will get millions of that copy of that segment of the DNA or segment of the gene. Okay, and then we are detecting by running the amplicon on the agarose gel. So that agarose gel ko we have to visualize under the UV rays, and in that gel there will be ETBr, ethidium bromide will be there. So if ETBr is there, because of that our amplicon or amplified gene will be fluorescence. वो थोड़ा सा bright चमकीला दिखेगा. So this is this PCR for the detection of pathogen generally target virulence associated gene. जैसे CTX gene है, so this CTX gene including cholera toxin in the species of Vibrio cholera having a strain of 01 and 0139. Then TDX gene including thermostable direct hemolysin for the species of Vibrio parahemolyticus, and HNS and INVE gene for Salmonella. Then STX1 and STX2 and EAE gene for enterohemorrhagic Escherichia coli. So these are the some toxicity gene, virulence gene. So this gene will encode that particular toxin. And if that toxin is formed by that bacteria, and if it is released to the food, and if we are consuming that food, we will suffer from that toxin. We will be intoxicated. So this we can detect by the polymerase chain reaction. Principle जो अभी हमने बताया, how we can do? We can amplify the target gene or target DNA by adding the genomic DNA. There will be primer, there will be oligonucleotide, there will be A, T, G, C, all will be there. There will be buffer, and there will be polymerase enzyme, Taq DNA polymerase enzymes. And then we are loading into the thermocycler, this PCR, polymerase chain reaction, that equipment. So there will be heating and cooling cycle. Denaturing will be there. Then denaturing के बाद में हमारा है annealing will be there. Annealing के बाद में हमारा है extension will be there. So there will be heating and cooling millions of times. So heating and coolings ये होते रहेंगे और millions of copies हमारा gene fragment हमारे को मिलते रहेगा. And that gene amplified gene or amplicon we can detect on the agarose gel and we can visualize under UV light. Okay. I think this will be end. The time will be very short. Time is very short. It is going to end. We can join again. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.